This reading is based on a poem created by a chap named M. Shinowitz, but it had lots of Yiddish in it, and we're not too good with Yiddish, so I've modified it. Yiddish, fortunately, is close to German, so I can make some changes in it. Esther's story. The story I'm telling you isn't very new, just about a man who messed with a Jew. You all know what happened. It's history. You mess with a Jew, you swing from a tree. Once there was a king they called Xerxes, ruler over many lands and seas. One day the king had himself a thought that a big party to make he ought. Everyone's invited. Everything's paid. Bring the beggar, the servant, the maid. Stuff them up like geese till their heart's content. Make everyone happy, was the king's intent. Announced to everyone, party starts at 8 and ends a week later, very, very late. Along comes a partier, pours a schnapps so fine. Make everyone, down the hatch it goes, and he says, make my second wine. Meats, treats, nothing was spared. Your heart's desire was quickly prepared. Uh-oh, look out. King's dead, drunk, and mean, gets a bee in his bonnet, wants to show off his queen. She's a real beauty. That's the way people thought. Queen Vashti, however, would no longer be bought. Suddenly gone prudish, she won't even phone. Says King Xerxes, banish her. Now he's all alone. The order was out that the man rules over the dame, and in every house in the kingdom, it better be the same. A wife, so the men, should be obedient. If she thought else, out the door she went. A Miss Persia contest for Xerxes' pleasure, Esther beat them all by a very far measure. Every contestant he did screen, but of them all, she became his queen. You can read all about it in the king's books. The gallows were the last place you would see the cooks. Mordecai heard their plot to poison the king. For the good of the Jews, he decided to sing. Haman said the king, you're my kind of dude. You saved my life, and I've got a new attitude. The king made him a big shot. Was he tickled pink? You had to bow to Haman, else you'd end up in the clink. Haman expected bows from Mordecai the sage, and when he didn't do it, Haman flew into a rage. He went to the king, and he offered him gold, 10,000 for the Jews. The king said, sold. Esther heard the plot Haman's trying to swing, and told Mordecai, I can't help or do anything, because, you see, there's one huge condition. To see the king, you need his permission. Because anyone who walks into his room without being called in, just seal his doom. So how do you expect me to save the Jews? Oh, Mordecai, you've got to excuse. Mordecai told her, Esther, you're such a beauty. When the king sees you, he'll know his duty. Just go ahead and have fun with it when it comes up. Mordecai told her, Esther, you're such a beauty. When the king sees you, he'll know his duty. Be brave. It's time to use your head. If you choose not, every Jew will be dead. Esther replied, okay, I will try. It's my only chance. Do or die. I'll go to the king with my charm of the past just to get the Jews together. Pray for me, and fast. She went to the king. Everything came out right. He stuck out his scepter, Esther to invite. She went right in, and he said, say, tell me what you want, and you'll get it today. She answered, all I want is you to come to my party today with that man, Haman. All she said at that party was, come again to my party tomorrow, and I'll tell you then. Haman started home full of glee. When he saw Mordecai, it turned to misery. He went home and asked his wife what to do. She said, build a gallows. Tomorrow he'll be through. That night the king just couldn't sleep. He read his diary. He felt like a creep. He realized that he didn't repay Mordecai for saving him that day. Haman was just coming in to tell the king that to hang Mordecai is just the right thing. The king asked him, pray me tell, what do you do to a man the king likes well? Haman thought, who else is there but me that the king would like to honor with all finery? He told him everything that he should do. The king said, do so to Mordecai, the Jew. Haman didn't have very much of a choice. After all, he had heard the king's voice. He only hoped he wouldn't meet any friends walking on the street. Haman's daughter saw them from the kitchen. Garbage at him, she started pitching. She threw so far you wouldn't think she'd reach him. She threw so much, he was looking very grim. When she realized that Mordecai was the man sitting on the horse instead of Haman, she went out the window, and now Haman troubles were piling up. And how? They came for the party. Esther did call. Haman, thinking it'd be a ball. He didn't realize this was his end to the gallows, him they're going to send. The king asked Esther, what do you need? She answered, for my own people I plead. Haman wants to get rid of every Jew. He thinks of them as merely dog doo-doo. The king walked out. Haman was turning red. He came back in, found Haman on the bed. The king said, can't I leave you alone with Esther in one room without a chaperone? Then the king's eunuch started to say, there's a tree in Haman's yard. I saw it today. He put it there to hang Mordecai. Said the king, hang Haman there, super high. The rest of the Megillah is incredibly huge. In what we learn today, you may find refuge. Listen and learn. That's what you're doing today. Now pay attention, folks, to what I've got to say. This is a warning, all you Hamans on the loose. Don't mess with no Jew. Don't put your head in a noose. The moral of this story, you're blind if you can't tell. You mess with God's people and you'll go to somewhere other than heaven.